Hello, everybody, and we're glad to have you with us at Coors Field as the Rockies welcome in the defending world champion San Francisco Giants. Carlos Gonzalez and the crew are ready to get after it and prove that their 12-3 start is no fluke. Of course, the Giants want to prove that they are the world champs and are set to defend that crown. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside Coors Field as we get set for Rockies baseball with more on this great game. Let's get you upstairs to Drew Goodman and my singing partner, George Frazier.
All right, Tom. Sounds good. Yes, this is a big early season matchup between the Rockies and the defending world champion San Francisco Giants. They've been getting after one another for quite some time now. Both teams have been pretty good for the last few years. The pitching matchups will be interesting. Rockies get two of the big three.
Well, they do get two of the big three, and I think the interesting thing is the Rockies pitching is starting to match up with their pitching. They don't have the Cy Youngs yet, but they've got one close going tomorrow. Ubaldo Jimenez will go against Sanchez tonight. It's Lincecum versus Rogers. And then the one guy that has always handled the Rockies, Matt Cain, will take the game on Wednesday afternoon against Jorge De La Rosa. Looking forward to the matchup.
Well, Esmil Rogers is a different pitcher than he was a year ago, George. He's grown up a lot, and today, you know, he's going to have some butterflies because it is the Giants. It's a big crowd, a big stage, and he's facing Lincecum.
Well, I think, you know, he showed me a lot when he went over to Pittsburgh on opening day, and he started against the Pirates in a packed house. He pitched very well against the Pittsburgh Pirates when it was their opening day. He was able to dominate with a fastball. He started utilizing his good curveball late into the ball game, and these guys didn't have a chance against him. Then he carried it on to the New York Mets on a huge stage for him because there's so many Latin American people that live there to come and back these guys when they go into the city to play, and I thought he handled that well. I think once he gets through this first inning, he'll be fine.
All right. Well, when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how the Rockies have fared against Tim Lincecum, the two-time Cy Young Award winner. to the Bay last autumn. Edgar Renteria provided the O, and Brian Wilson the final outs as San Francisco took out Texas in 5. Hundreds of miles away, Rockies like Helm and Gonzalez and Tulowitzki looked on, knowing that the talent was in place. Colorado's singular focus in 2011 is to relocate that special trophy. Well, the Rockies have seen a World Series. They came up on the short end in 07. The Giants' last World Series title, 1954, prior to capturing the 2010 Fall Classic. And tonight, these two clubs meet the first of 18 encounters in 2011. Welcome back upstairs. I'm Drew Goodman. Let's get at field level right now and bring in the third member of our crew, Jeff Hewson. Huey, nobody seems to fare all that well against Tim Lincecum, but the Rockies have had a couple of guys have some success.
Well, I think there's a reason for that, Drew, because Tim Lincecum, he's faced the Rockies the most of any team anywhere in his career. And so you look at this club, they don't have that fear factor of Tim Lincecum. Last year they were 2-2 against him with an ERA just below 3 for him. But there are a couple guys for the Rockies that are kind of licking their chops as they feel like they're going to the bat rack with a pretty good plan against him. One of them is Chris Iannetta, 6 for 12 with a home run, and also 8 walks involved with Iannetta, but not to be outdone is Todd Helton, 10 for 28 in his career with 1 home run as well. And there's some other guys in that ball club and in that locker room right now getting ready to go out there that say, you know what, I understand he's a guy that's won a couple Cy Youngs, but we feel like we have a pretty good chance going up against him tonight. The other thing, Drew, it's a lot like San Francisco down here tonight. A little cool, maybe a little mist falling later on, little breeze. Nice night for baseball, though.
Great night for baseball. The Rockies have the best record in the game at 12-3. The Giants come a-calling. Colorado, San Francisco, come on back to Coors Field with us. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford Mustang, the all-legend, zero-compromise thrill machine. Ford Mustang, drive one. By the fast, reliable, secure, heavy-duty internet from Quest. By Sonic, America's drive-in. It's new, it's better, it's the new Sonic Good. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. So as Jeff Houston described it as a cool and misty night, San Francisco-like, if you will, as the Rockies and Giants play for the first time this year. That's Aaron Rowan striding to the plate. Here's the rest of the Southwest batting order for Bruce Bochy. He'll have Freddie Sanchez, a very accomplished two-hole hitter, former batting champion with the Pirates. Aubrey Huff, who led the Giants in virtually every offensive category last year. The incomparable young player Buster Posey. Pablo Sandoval, who's lost 40 pounds. Pat Burrell, Nate Shearholtz. The veteran Miguel Tejada and Tim Lincecum to face Esmil Rogers. We are thrilled you're along, and here is pitch number 1 of the evening, and it's a slider for a strike with a lot of bite.
Well, you'd like to see that early just to make them aware of the pitch that you can throw your secondary pitches for strikes.
Rowan is off to a good start, and that's a soft liner gloved by Tulowitzki, 1 out. And let's look inside the numbers for Esmil Rogers. 2-0, George. You got to like that. You got to like the ERA.
Yeah, and you'd like to see him get a win at home. He's yet to do that here in a Rockies uniform. 2-0, the ERA is good. The innings pitched, working deeper into ball games. It's either been really good or really bad against the Giants. But again, this is not the same guy that they've witnessed the last couple of years when they've seen him out on the mound. He had a great outing last year on July 4th. 4 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts against the Giants, and then was roughed up by the Giants on September the 25th.
He just painted the black at 96 miles an hour. And that had some sink to it, George.
Changeup at 88 miles an hour. Pretty good velocity with the changeup, but the movement's what got the swing and miss.
Quickly 0-2 on Freddie Sanchez. Now Sanchez wants to slow Rogers down.
A veteran ball club. Don't be surprised if they don't do that a lot.
And the 0-2 is hitting the air pretty well to right. Spilborg's not going to be able to get it. And Sanchez is going to have a double. I noticed during batting practice, Jeff Houston, that the ball was carrying really well. I didn't think it was hit that great off the bat. Evidently, it was hit pretty well.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either, Drew, because when that ball was first hit, I just immediately assumed it was going to be a fly out to right field, but the ball was up, and that Freddie Sanchez can get extended on that. That wasn't even close on the forward strike zone. And Ryan turned immediately, went after the ball, just couldn't get it.
A 3.5-foot miss by Rogers. You're trying to elevate a ball inside, and you miss out over the plate with a guy that can handle the bat.
So dangerous hitter, particularly in this ballpark, Aubrey Huff. He had 4 homers in here last season. And the fastball is on by him.
Let's see if Rogers continues the trends. 3-hole hitters have yet to get a hit against him. 0 for 6.
Huff last year hit .375, 4 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs at Coors Field.
There's been so much said about the Rockies and their 2-out base hits, scoring so many runs so far in the season. Well, the same can be said for Rockies pitchers with runners in scoring position. Example, Esmil Rogers in his career has let the opposition hit .349. This year, they're hitting 100, 1 for 10.
1-1 on Huff. And that pitch, he swings over the top. That's the changeup. He threw 13 changeups in that great ball game against the Pirates, George. 11 for strikes, and he threw it behind in the count, or even, as he just did here.
If you have the ability to throw an off-speed pitch behind in counts, what's impressive is he's throwing one to a right-handed batter and a left-handed batter.
1-2 on Huff. And this is served to center field. Fowler will come up with the baseball, but he's not going to have a play on Sanchez. So Aubrey Huff out on his front foot on another changeup. Just poked it to center field, and the Giants take a 1-0 lead.
Look at this from center field. You're going to see exactly on the location of this pitch, and I think you're going to see that this ball is not where Esmil Rogers wanted. Faded away, but a little bit up into the strike zone. This is a guy, Aubrey Huff, getting 2 strikes as an RBI machine. Look at him just throw the bat at it and make contact and able to lift this ball out into the outfield, which allowed Sanchez to score.
Yeah, you look at that again, George, and you have to say good job, Aubrey Huff, because he did take that pitch off the plate about 6-7 inches. It wasn't a bad pitch.
No, it wasn't a bad pitch. And the thing is, with veteran teams and veteran hitters, it's difficult to back up. In other words, double up on pitches. One was a swing and miss. The next was looking at it from the side. You'll really see how far he was out on the front foot and basically just threw the bat at it.
Yeah, I mean, he fooled him badly.
Tip of your hat.
Buster Posey at the plate. He hit a home run yesterday. He hit a home run Saturday. It's 2-0 on Posey.
Jeff, what impresses me so much about Posey is his ability. Ball's in or out, it doesn't matter. He could take the ball to right field.
Well, especially for a young guy. When he came up, he made an immediate impact. And really, to me, I just haven't seen a pitch that he cannot handle. Sometimes guys will come up and you'll say, okay, he can't handle that, the breaking pitch away, but he's able to cover that one up. He'll hit it out. Inside, he's able to still use those hands inside. And those are impressive numbers. And that's why he's Rookie of the Year.
Well, you talk about pitchers with easy heat. He has easy power.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Posey. He won the Rookie of the Year voting going away. Jason Hayward was second. Jaime Garcia was third for St. Louis.
That's impressive, too. He didn't come up till May 29th. So, I mean, he did a lot of damage compared to the other guys in a shorter amount of time.
Yep. This is a fly ball left center field. Gonzalez and Fowler. It'll be Dexter. And that is the second out. That'll bring up Pablo Sandoval. Let's check the Rockies defensively. Cargo in left, Dexter Fowler in center. Normally it would be Seth Smith in right. He has that groin injury. He did take batting practice, is available to pinch hit. That's the good news. Jose Lopez at third, Tulowitzki and Herrera up the middle, Todd Helton at first, and Chris Iannetta is doing the catching. You know, with an off day Thursday, I would imagine Iannetta will catch all 3 ball games, fellas.
I would think the same thing. I mean, with that off day and being able to fly the night after the game on Wednesday, you've got a complete day to relax.
Now, this is a different guy in terms of body makeup. A year ago, he really did get heavy. He went through a divorce off the field. And he was not the same player, Jeff, in 2010 that we saw in 2009. But if there's any indication that 2011 is going to be more like 09, because he's off to a great start, he has lost 40 pounds.
I hardly recognized him today when he was over in the dugout for a second. I had to do a double take. That's how much he looks different.
He's still got the big personality. He's always got a smile on his face. He loves to play. Look at the 09 numbers. 330, 25 jacks. And then last year, I mean, it fell off so much, Frage, that in the postseason he watched a lot.
Well, he did. And unfortunately, going through that divorce can really affect someone on the field and what they're trying to accomplish as a player, because your mind is just not there.
It's 2-0 on Sandoval. Being selective here, that's not one of his traits, though.
So you're saying he's probably going to swing at this one?
Well, there's a Panda fan.
I think he will. I'll just throw that out there.
If it's close, he will.
Oh, it was close. He didn't swing. 3-0.
I'm glad I only bet the patio. Yeah, exactly. And this one's off the plate also, missing the target just a little bit. Early in counts, you may get a swing on that pitch, but not late in counts.
And ball 4. Sandoval walks, and that pushes Aubrey Huff to second base. Pat Burrell comes up.
He could be a dangerous bat, meaning Pat Burrell. You see the numbers on Ismael Rogers versus the San Francisco Giants. And again, we discussed some of those numbers ugly. And throw those out, not quite the same guy. Burrell has struggled this year with runners in scoring position, 0 for 8. His 4 home runs, all solo shots. He's hitting the .190.
Burrell turned out to be a great pickup last year, released by Tampa. He hit just under 270 with power the rest of the way for the Giants. And that pitch misses.
Well, the book is trying to crowd him, but you got to be careful. You can't repeat coming inside because he will open up. But he loves to extend his arms up, powers to all fields.
I'd like to see that slider come back into play here.
Not a bad idea.
Fastball had movement on it at 95. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rogers 20 pitches into this first inning. Corey Blazer is the man you're looking at. He's behind the plate. The crew chief is Ed Rapuano. Good umpire. Second base Brian O'Nora. Third base Ed Hickox. Limit the damage. Get out of this right now. 1 run in. And that fastball a little bit low. Giants played 12 innings yesterday down in Phoenix. They lost 7-6, or 6-5, I should say. They had won 4 straight ball games. Bruce Bochy's club had to use quite a bit of their bullpen over the weekend because Barry Zito got hurt in the 3rd inning on Saturday. This ball's crushed to left. That's exactly what you didn't want to have happen. And now the Giants are up 4-0. First time this year Burrell has hit one out with anybody on base. You don't want to give Tim Lincecum a 4-run cushion. The Rockies just did.
Yeah, the one thing I mentioned early with him up at the plate, you can come in occasionally, but you can't come in and back it up, or he's a veteran hitter that's going to end up hurting you. And that's exactly what happened here. You look back, wanting the ball to the outer half of the plate. The ball caught dead center. Veltai, a hitter's dream, obviously a power hitter's dream, and Burrell just set on the fastball in the middle of the plate.
Nate Shearholtz at the plate. 1-0 count as Pat Burrell gets congratulated in the dugout. And Rogers started well. 2 pitches he retired Rowan on a jam shot to short. I thought he was ahead of Freddie Sanchez. I didn't think he made a bad pitch on Sanchez, and Sanchez was able to reach up and hit a high fly ball that got over the head of Spilborghs, and then the pitch to Aubrey Huff was a good pitch. Huff just stuck the bat out there. This ball's crushed. This ball's going to get out of here. Wow. That is in the 3rd deck. Upper tank for Nate Shearholtz. Not many go up there. That's his first of the year, his first RBI.
Just when you think this game's easy, it'll bring you and your pitching coach right back to the grips of what it can really do to you. Let's take a look at this fastball, because it looked like it was trying to poke it to the inside to keep his reduce the ability to do just what he does here, and that's extend on it and hit it. And this may be the first ball I've seen this year up in the upper tank. I don't know about Jeff and Drew, but that's the first one I've seen get 5 rows up there.
Not many balls have gone up there in the history of Coors Field.
Well, and guess what, guys? This is going to be a little growing up process for Ismael Rogers, because the game had been real easy. I mean, really, and I think that, to give up this many runs early, you're going to have to take a bite on this. Now, the Rockies did make a roster move, and Clayton Mortensen's down in their bullpen just for this reason. If something would happen early in this game, and they could give him some length.
2-strike count on Miguel Tejada. Everybody in shock in the stadium. Great anticipation to this opening game of a 3-game set. And now the Rockies have spotted Tim Lincecum at least a 5-run advantage. Rogers not out of the inning yet. His next delivery will be his 30th. By the way, that's the 31st ball to reach the upper deck in right field here at Coors Field. The last one to do it, Cargo, when he capped off the day of the cycle against the Cubs. That was last July 31st.
Yeah, a lot of pitches thrown so far by Ishmael Rogers. At one point, it was 12 strikes, 3 balls. So you can see that things have changed dramatically with 30 pitches, 18 strikes.
And now he's run it full on Miguel Tejada.
It looks like he's really coming out of his delivery now too, George, where he's falling hard off towards the first base side.
Well, you start to yank, you get out and you yank your head and the front shoulder trying to get more on the ball because you're angry versus sitting up and allowing the front shoulder to stay closed longer, to stay on line longer to the plate.
And this will get the Rockies to the dugout. Johnny Herrera will throw out Miguel Tejada. Ugly start for Ishmael Rogers. He gives up a 5 spot in the first inning. Second straight day that a couple of Giants have gone back-to-back. This time it's Burrell and Shearholtz. A 3-run home run to Pat Burrell. Nate Shearholtz followed with the 31st ball ever to the upper deck here at Coors Field. So the Rockies have some catching up to do against one of the game's best pitchers, Tim Lincecum. As you saw, Dexter Fowler will lead it off. The rest of Jim Tracy's lineup presented by Southwest.com. Johnny Herrera hitting an even 400 will be next. Cargo 4 for 5 yesterday. Tulowitzki hit over 500 last week. Helton is swinging the bat exceptionally well. Spillboards for Smith, Jose Lopez, Chris Iannetta, and Ishmael Rogers. As Jeff told you during our open, Chris Iannetta is 6 for 12 lifetime against Lincecum. Well, fellas, you just got to chip away.
Well, this is one thing about this baseball team. It can fall behind very quickly in a ball game, and you look up, and all of a sudden it's 5-1, 5-2, but there's a little different animal out on the hill right now, and that's Tim Lincecum. You're going to have to make him throw pitches in the strike zone, as Jim Tracy talked about prior to the ball game. They also tell me, and again, speaking with Dave Righetti and Bruce Bochy, his fastball velocity has improved. Can you imagine? I mean, a year ago he was 89, 93. All of a sudden he's flashing some 96s, some 93s. Where before you didn't see that as often from Lincecum. The leadoff man has yet to get a base hit on him. 0 for 10.
2-1, fouled off. Well, Lincecum last year averaged a little better than 92 miles an hour on his fastball. In August, his velocity was down, but keep in mind he finished very strong. He went 5-1 down the stretch. He was terrific in the postseason.
3-1 in the postseason.
Well, he won Game 1 and Game 5 of the World Series. He beat Cliff Lee each time. He threw a gem against Atlanta when he struck out 14 in a shutout.
This looks from his windup that he's getting a little bit more hip turn than he was in August when we saw him last year.
Well, part of that, when you saw him in September too, I think he took a little bit of a time to say, I need to get things straightened out here. I need to get in better shape than what I was. And that span of, what was he, 0-5 or 0-7 with an 8 earned run average, he turned that around in the month of September.
He looks heavier this year too.
He looks thicker, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's all the way up to like 160.
Strike 3, dropped a curveball on him, and Fowler is gone. That'll bring up Johnny Herrera. This could be the Achilles heel if you want to try to find one with a team that was the last one standing last year, but their defense has not been good, and they have a lot of age out there. Burrow, Rowand, and Shearholtz in the outfield. Burrow, it'll be a struggle to play left field at Coors Field for him. In the infield has Sandoval, Tejada, Sanchez, and Huff. And Miguel Tejada, a wonderful player throughout his career. In talking to scouts, he doesn't have anywhere close to the range he once had.
3 errors already early in the season for Tejada.
1-1 on Johnny Herrera. 24th right now in the major leagues in fielding percentage. 24th of 30 teams. That's called a strike.
Herrera right now in the National League is third in the National League on base percentage, 543. Iannetta is 7th with all those walks that he's been able to accumulate.
And this is slowly hit to first now. A dive and a tag by Huff because the pitcher Lincecum fell asleep.
Well, he was just asking Corey Glazer, the home plate umpire, if it was foul. That's what he thought it was, but it wasn't.
He's still got to go over.
Yeah,
no,
you would think.
I agree.
Anytime the ball's hit to the right side, all you youngsters at home, ball hit to the right side, break to the bag till somebody tells you to get out of the way. Good hustle by Puff, the veteran at first base.
And a great attempt by Herrera to avoid the tag. 2 outs, nobody on. Gonzalez will step up. Drove in a couple of runs yesterday. Exhibited great patience yesterday. Saw more pitches, Jeff, and he looked like a different guy at the plate than the last couple of days.
Well, he just slowed his whole body down, and even with his leg kick right now, it's even slower than what we saw early in the season.
He's softer with it. He was telling me before, he goes, I'm trying to land a lot softer.
Well, that helps with your head too. You land softer with your feet, your head doesn't move. You land hard, your head's going to jar.
2-0, pulled toward the hole. Diving stop by Freddie Sanchez, and he got the out. So Lincecum works a 1-2-3 first inning, and the Giants gave him 5 runs to work with. In the first, and it'll be Tim Lincecum to lead things off. Who wants tacos? Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more as they did yesterday during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. I hope you did that earlier today. Strike 1 on Lincecum. It's in without a hit so far this year.
Not a bad hitter, though. He's 139 career as a hitter. 127, excuse me. He's done everything but hit a home run. He's got 3 doubles, a triple. He's got RBIs. 251 at bats.
You know those home runs by Rogers given up over 13 innings, had not given up a home run. And he'd really pitched well, and not that he just work your way through the rest of this ball game. Try to give your club 5 innings.
No swing on the breaking ball. It's 2-2. There's a stat here I've been reluctant to read, but I feel obligated. I'm blaming it on Marino because he handed it to me.
We blame everything on Marino.
Lincecum is gone. 26-0 when given 5+ runs of support.
I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't think we need to repeat it or anything else. Draw an X anyway. Just draw an X.
In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're going to toss it to Alana. Let her handle it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Rowan stepping up. Alana, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. I don't like that stat either, guys. But you know what? This team is very even keel, and I'm talking about the Colorado Rockies. Of course, this series getting a lot of attention. It's the defending world champs, and the fact that the Rockies are off to such a great start in 2011. So there's a lot of focus on it. However, Jim Tracy says, you know what? We're going to focus on the process, not on the opponent. What he means by that is they're going to continue to do what they've done that has given them so much success so far this season. Everything that they've worked on in spring training that has translated into success for the 2011 season. This team doesn't get too high because of their record, and they certainly don't get too low. When they've won all of these games, you don't see them in the locker room, you know, high-fiving and carrying on. They expect to win. They don't treat the Giants any differently, guys.
All right, Alana. Helton catches the foul pop from Rowan. 2 gone.
All-time ERAs at Coors. A lot of guys have difficulty coming in and playing in this ballpark, but as non-Rockies, Oswald is at 225. Think about that. Lincecum 6th on that list at 386. Matt Cain number 2 on the list.
Freddie Sanchez hit that high fastball over Spielborg's head and right his first time up. Did he offer at it?
Jeff, you don't have a lot of pull down there.
Well, not with Eddie. I go back a long way with him. We kind of broke in together in the minor leagues. So
we'll just tell Eddie, but Frank Foley wouldn't be proud of him for not calling out a strike.
This ball's well hit to right center field. Freddie Sanchez, there must be a vacuum out there today. I mean, the ball's just flying to right field. We saw it during batting practice. In fact, saw a couple of balls in batting practice go upper tank. Sanchez with his 2nd home run of the year. 3 bombs already for the Giants at 6-0.
What's weird about it, Drew and George, is the flags are blowing in kind of from right center.
Well, that ball ran back to the middle of the plate about belt high on Freddie Sanchez. And again, I know Freddie's got some strength, but this is kind of ridiculous type strength here, opposite field in any ballpark to take it out of the yard. But I've noticed, and again, and you know, watching games here for an awful long time, that the vacuum Drew's talking about is in the bullpen area. It's in that right center field area.
One ball, 1 strike on Aubrey Huff.
Rockies career-wise 75 and 55 against the Giants at Coors Field. 77 and 63 overall in Denver.
Three balls and a strike. Sanchez played for Jim Tracy when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's always been a tough out, and he's always hit well here at Coors Field. What is going on?
Stay in there.
He will. Huff didn't miss that by much. Solo home run by Freddie Sanchez. 6-0 Giants, middle of 2. 6th inning, top of to be exact. It is Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your thoughts and questions to 720-720. That's Toyota Talk, and we'll continue Toyota Talk during the Toyota post-game show. Also, Troy Tulowitzki in the 2nd inning against Tim Lincecum. Tulo hit .519 last week, but he was not the player of the week in the National League despite having 4 home runs and 8 RBIs. That award went to
Lance Berkman of the Cardinals.
Lance Berkman of the Cardinals.
How about this number, folks? Drew gave you a stat we don't want to repeat. Well, I want to repeat this one like 500 times. Tulowitzki with 7 home runs on the season. That's as many as Oakland, Seattle, and Minnesota all have combined. The 7 each. As a team, can you imagine as teams? Oakland has 7, Seattle has 7, excuse me, Minnesota only has 5. Tulo's got 7. Hang with him, guys.
We saw Seattle during spring training. They're going to struggle to score runs again. They struggled last year. They're going to struggle this year.
They have a good chance to lose 100 ball games.
Here's the 2-1 to Tulo, and a ground ball to Tejada.
Well, you know, Jeff, 2 teams that have struggled so far, the Mets and the Seattle Mariners. And it's sitting here looking at today's date. When this ball game started on the 18th of April, they've already had 2 closed-door meetings and shouting matches for the manager. That's not a good sign when you're 18 games into the season.
No, it's not.
Todd Helton steps up with 1 gone. Helton at 342, and a check swing bouncer that is a fair ball. Sandoval will throw out Helton.
A guy that has handled Lincecum fairly well throughout his career. It's Todd Helton, 357 with a home run, 3 RBIs, comes up on a check swing. Sandoval, very strong arm, so fundamentally sound on that play. To backhand it, made sure he had his feet under him, stayed behind and threw the baseball.
And he had the luxury of a below average runner going to first.
And I'm not sure Todd took off out of the box quickly thinking it was going to go foul.
I think that ball where it hit started in foul territory and then came back into fair territory.
Yeah, there's no question, Huey. That was probably a foot foul when it first contacted the ground.
So as a hitter, Jeff, you're basically going to freeze on something like this and go, okay, that's a foul ball.
Well, it hits in the other batter's box, and so you're going, okay, it's a foul ball. Oh, wait, I got to run.
You know, I wonder if when you say it hit in that other's batter box, you know, you guys dig in. I wonder if it hit like where the shoe is and it just ricocheted back into fair territory.
You know what? That's a good point. It probably did.
Something had to, because the way this feels manicured, you normally wouldn't see a bounce like that.
2 strikes on Spilborghs. Slider from Lincecum. The pitch that he hasn't really featured much so far, Jeff, is the changeup. He throws it almost 30% of the time.
Well, I don't think he needs to with the 6-0 lead. So he's just going to go mainly fastball and then a curveball.
And it's a slider there that strikes out Spilborghs. 2nd strikeout of the ball game for Lincecum. 6-0 San Francisco.
You buy your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By McDonald's from April 15th through today. Buy a McDonald's Egg McMuffin, Big Mac, or Quarter Pounder with cheese. Get the same sandwich for free. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by the Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package.
Hey, Jeff, let me throw something out at you. You're just going to be a little shocked with this. The last MVP, or excuse me, Rookie of the Year that the Giants had prior to Buster Posey winning a year ago, John Montefusco in 1975.
The count.
You guess who the runner-up was that year?
75.
Gary Carter. That was really a long time ago.
Carter ended up in the Hall of Fame. Montefusco had a good career.
Montefusco 15-9 that rookie year.
2-1. Buster Posey hit a high fly ball to left center his first time. Esmil Rogers has given up 3 home runs in the first 2 innings. And that's a pitch that's up in the zone, and especially in this park on a night like this with the ball flying.
That's so strange.
You don't want to miss up there.
No, and it's so strange because Jeff said earlier that, you know, you feel the wind that's blowing out in left center. You can look at the flags above the rock pile. They're going out, yet the ball's carrying to right. It's a cool night. You wouldn't think the ball would carry the way it has early.
Full count on Buster Posey. Florida State legend. And this is a bloop that Johnny Herrera is going to chase down. Well done by Johnny Sparkplug.
Yeah, you put a star on that one all over the place. I mean, the thing you got to do there, Jeff, just bury the head and take off running.
Kind of like an outfielder, George. You know, so many times we talk about outfielders having to just turn and run to a spot. Same thing with an infielder. You just go back, you think you're at that area, you turn, and that's just textbook from Johnny. And then the hardest part is once you're falling, to make sure you close that glove so the ball doesn't pop out.
You notice what he did there at that end. As soon as the glove and the ball made contact, he rolled the glove inside the body to keep the backside of that glove so the impact it wouldn't pop out.
Johnny's one of those middle infielders that really uses a small glove. He uses an 11-inch glove, and when he does go over to third base, he keeps the same glove.
I did the same thing because that was my baby. I just felt like I knew where my hand was. I knew where the ball was going to go in there. I'm not going to change it because I changed positions.
3-0 on Sandoval. He hasn't seen a strike yet. Leading the Giants with that 340 average, and he has been up there for 8 pitches, and he's seen 8 balls.
It's really hard to do with Pablo.
That may be his first career 2-walk game, right?
Yep.
Has to be. Well, let's make sure if you want to come out to the ballpark and look at a suite, try out the BOGO suites. You can ask about it. Buy one, get one free offer. There are 17 BOGO dates in April, May, including the Giant ball games.
And that gets Pat Burrow. And Rogers has 2 on with Nate Shearholtz coming up. Here comes Bob Apodaca. Sandoval coming into the ball game had walked 4 times, one of them intentionally. Now he's walked twice tonight. The fastball runs in and clips the shirt of Burrow.
Yeah, Bob Apodaca chewing a little bit on the youngster here. Are you going to give in, or are you going to continue to be competitive? Because if you're going to walk guys, hit guys, you're going to get buried into this lineup, and it's going to be worse than looking at a 6-0 game. You got to get back on track with what you're doing.
I didn't see any warnings being issued after that.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? I think they realized the kid struggled a little bit. He started to get wild, even though that first pitch was very in on Buster Posey. Then you come back against Burrell, the same thing, trying to bury it inside.
Here's Clayton Mortensen, who was just called to the big leagues.
He pitched 1 inning on Saturday for the Colorado Springs Sky Sox. Clayton Mortensen was a sandwich pick with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was traded The Matt Holliday trade over to Oakland Athletics.
Now this is what Shearholtz did in the first inning.
Just don't see this often. As a matter of fact, that's the 31st time you've ever seen this in the history of this ballpark. Third deck shot.
Yeah, when you buy seats out there in the third deck in right center field, not down the line, you're not thinking you're getting a souvenir. This is down the line. This is going to score Pablo Sandoval. Burrow's going to go first to third. 7-0 San Francisco.
Second RBI of the year for Nate Shearholtz at first base on that line drive to right field. Let's look where Ionetta's setting up. See, you're seeing a lot of reach backs, reach outs by Ionetta. Telling you he's missing his target very well. And the Giants obviously have picked the ball up coming out of the hand, because there's been some balls hit hard against Rogers that you have not seen in his first 2 starts.
Mortensen's starting to crank it up a little bit quicker out there in the bullpen now.
Now, one of our favorite sayings out there, you got a man down, let's get it going. You got to get out there and rescue him out of the water. Needs a life preserver. Let's go.
Well, the way the complexion of this one, obviously, it's 7-0 early. Somebody's going to be a bullpen saver tonight, and
Has to be.
And may have to eat some.
Well, you hope the ERA don't get blown.
salad.
Yeah, well, you just hope you don't. I mean, you hope you come in and stop the bleeding and change things. You hope the bats get tired.
Tejada fouls it right back. Miguel Ofer's last 10 at the plate. You know who he has helped immensely is Pablo Sandoval. He's been like a big brother to Sandoval, taking him under his wing, because Miguel Tejada throughout his career has had a reputation as obviously a very talented player, former MVP in the American League, high energy player, hard worker. This guy's always kept himself in great shape. That's what Sandoval needed. Every morning they work out together. He follows Tejada around the weight room, and this ball's in the air to left. Here goes Cargo underneath it. They're going to test his arm, and the throw is wide of the target, and Burrow scores the 8th run for San Francisco.
Well, a lot of times it takes a veteran guy to tell a young player, you're talking about Tejada and Sandoval, to remember what this game is giving you. It's giving you an opportunity to play in the greatest stage in the world, to be on a world championship team, and you could be here for a long time, but you've got to work at becoming that player that everybody thinks you can be. It will not be handed to you.
One of the things Miguel was telling me, Jeff, that he imparted to Sandoval was that, hey, when you're on top, remember what you're doing, because around the corner is going to be some bad times, and you don't want it to be a huge valley.
Well, yeah, and the other thing, too, remember Tejada played a lot of years every single game, too. I mean, he had a long playing streak, so he understands the importance of going out and exercising, keeping yourself in top-notch shape to make sure that, you know what, when you're high and things are going well, but you still keep that even keel. Same thing when things aren't going quite as well. Hard work will get you a long ways in this game.
Gets you a long way
in life.
In life, you're
Absolutely.
right. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Lincecum. Strike 3 on Lincecum. 2 more runs for the Giants in the third. It is 8-0 San Francisco. Rockies looking for their first hit. straight Warren Spahn and won more than 360 big league games. He was something like 0 for 21 the first time I saw him. His first major league hit was a home run off me, and I'll never forgive myself. We might have gotten rid of Willie forever if I'd only struck him out. Of course, he's talking about Willie Mays, who came to the big leagues, I believe, hitting .476 in AAA. And he started 0 for 21 with the 51 Giants. And blame it on the Hall of Famer Warren Spahn not getting him out in that 22nd at bat.
Can't believe it. Cannot believe it.
660 home runs later, he called it a career. 2 balls and a strike. Jose Lopez, Chris Iannetta. And Esmil Rogers. Three and 2 on Lopez. Lopez was playing up in Seattle when a lot of the conversation during the summer turned to this kid from the University of Washington, Tim Lincecum. Lopez gone. That's strikeout number 3. That'll bring up Iannetta.
Talked about it earlier with Chris Iannetta. You see the average at .229, yet his on-base percentage in the top 10 in the National League. He's told me numerous times this is the best I have ever felt at home plate as far as seeing the baseball. He said I may not be getting a lot of the results that I'm looking for, but he said it's the most comfortable I've felt.
He's just seen a lot of pitches too. 4.69 pitches per plate appearances, which is best. Chris is seeing that. That's why he has so many walks.
Towering pop.
Burrell didn't see it at first.
No, sure didn't. The good thing Tejada did. Burrell just threw up his hands. You know, when the ball was hit in the air, I don't know about for you, Jeff, but I mean, it gets into this, you know, we talk about high skies. Well, this is a gray sky. For an infielder or outfielder, that's going to be hard.
Kind of went up towards the top of the lights, and you really lost it for a second. Burrell didn't know where it was, but the wind kind of held that up. Tejada was able to get back and get it.
2 outs, nobody on. Rogers at the plate.
But it may be one of those deals where Jimmy says, you know, that's enough, because Mortensen's still throwing down in the Rockies bullpen. And just to save all of his hitters on the bench, let Rogers go ahead and hit with 2 outs and no action, no traffic. Bring Clayton Mortensen into the ball game.
Well, unless the Rockies really get something going offensively, the last thing you want to do is use guys in your bullpen that you'd like to have tomorrow in a tight affair.
Well, Belisle's out. I mean, he's not going to use him no matter what. He will not be in a ball game today. He said that prior to the ball game. But those other guys Drew's talking about, you want to obviously keep Betancourt and all those other guys, Lindstrom out of the game, and Frankie Morales could obviously work. Lindstrom looks to be on his game.
8-0 Giants. question. Alan Johnson pitched 4 innings in his major league debut yesterday, but failed to get a decision. Who are the 5 pitchers to win their big league debut as a starter for the Rockies? Good question. The eats are good on the club level. You know, Charlie Felix, I think he's running that camera one-handed. And Charlie's got one hand. See, look, if you look carefully, some salads missing, right?
Uh-oh.
Charlie's trying to get at the tongs there.
Charlie can eat, too.
Charlie can do some damage. He's been hanging around that buffet for a while. Chuck, just nod. Are you eating and shooting? That's what I thought. Yep, confirmation. We do have a new pitcher in the game. George, you were right on the money. Esmil Rogers did not have it tonight, missed with location, and he's a young pitcher. He's got tremendous upside. He's been very good so far this year. Tonight, not his night. And Jim Tracy said that's enough.
Well, just get him out of the ball game. I mean, you don't want to go out and get beat up any more than is what's necessary. And Mortensen was brought up for this purpose right here, and that is to go out and pitch and eat up some innings. He's been to the big leagues with St. Louis, made 1 start in 2009, and then up with Oakland the last 2 years with Oakland, where he went 2-4 in 6 starts, and then last year made 1 start, gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Matter of fact, that start came on the next to the last day of the season. Now, AAA last year in Sacramento, very effective, 13-6 in AAA. Heavy sinker, slider, changeup. Relies mostly on the sinker.
Aaron Rowan 0 for 2 in the ball game. So Esmil gone, 3 innings, 8 runs, 6 hits.
And he's traded here to the Rockies for Ethan Hollinsworth, a young man who won 12 games a year ago in high A. This ball, nice play by Lopez.
That's a great play. Help with the pick at first. Gorgeous play by Jose Lopez. And you remember the play that ended the game yesterday. Rockies win 9-5. Lopez made a great diving stab for the 27th out.
Yeah, that was on a line drive. This time it's a ball down the line. And this is one thing we've seen Jose be able to do. Go to his right. As good as better than advertised, I think, what we were expecting from Jose Lopez. But he can go down to that side and then make the strong throw. His range is just a little bit better than what I thought, George.
Well, you know what? He gets a good reaction off the baseball. And I think he's much more comfortable at third base, Jeff, than he is at second. He's played a lot more games at the third base position than he has at the second base position.
33-year-old Freddie Sanchez at the plate. And this is a more conventional play. 2 gone. Believe it or not, that's the first time tonight that the Rockies have retired 2 Giants in a row. Aubrey Huff, an RBI single. See, he's the one who started it, George, because I really believe that was a good pitch that Esmil Rogers made on him. He's off balance, he's on his front foot, and he's lost the top hand, and he just contacts the ball enough to get it into center field to drive in a run.
Well, you know what? Really good hitters I've noticed, Jeff, maybe you will concur with me, that even though they're fooled on a pitch, their plane of the bat coming through the zone stays the same. Well, even if they're fooled when they throw the bat at it, it's still going to stay the same.
And the thing with that one, too, there was no depth going this way. It just kind of stayed on that same plane. So when the bat's staying on the same plane, it's easier to stay on it and then just get a little dink base hit out into center field.
2 balls and a strike on Huff. In the offseason, he signed a 2-year, $22 million contract to stay with the Giants, experiencing winning for the first time in his career. You know who he's similar to, similar career-wise? In my mind, Ty Wigginton. Ty Wigginton's put up good numbers on teams that were not so good. Aubrey Huff, the same deal. Huff finally comes to a good club. And was a big part of their world championship a year ago. Mortensen, a 1-2-3 Rockies debut. Fowler Was not the plan tonight. The Rockies trailing 8-0, bottom of 4. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo with tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Alana?
All right, guys, thanks very much. I'm over here at the Wells Fargo Club on the third base side, and you know what? It's all about food, which got me thinking about Tim Lincecum's diet. You might be surprised at the secret of how he keeps so svelte at 168 pounds. Take a look at what this kid eats on a regular basis. I'm not kidding. He goes to In-N-Out, which I'm very jealous that they have those there, but take a look. Three double-doubles, 1,770 calories, 2 orders of fries for 790 calories, a chocolate strawberry shake, 590 calories for a total of 3,150. Now, I will tell you on the double-doubles, he likes them with ketchup, but no lettuce and tomato, because he said he's not much of a vegetable guy. So if that's the secret to being that thin, maybe we should get In-N-Out burgers here. Although if we did have them in Colorado, I would likely weigh 400 pounds, guys. But sounds like a pretty good diet for him.
Well, I can tell you this much. He's in his 20s, Alana. When he's in his mid-30s,
it'll catch up to him.
He won't be weighing 168 pounds on that diet.
Probably not. But can you imagine eating that many calories in a day, guys?
Yeah, what's
and
wrong
being
with
that skinny?
Well,
what's wrong with that?
Frazier does it.
Frazier puts mayonnaise
come over to
on
Sam's with me
too.
one morning. I'll show you how to eat some breakfast now.
If you not watch that man consume bacon and putting 3 sticks of butter on his pancakes, down low, Rockies have their first base runner. It's Dexter Fowler leading off the 4th inning. By the way, Alana, if you see Charlie Felix, our photographer.
Oh, he's over here, guys.
Yeah,
he's shooting the roast beef right now.
Yeah.
But he's going to probably be eating that as soon as that sandwich is finished being made, as he shakes his head up and down. This guy can pack it in.
Yeah.
He and Timmy Lincecum at In-N-Out could have quite the battle to see who could eat as many double-doubles.
That is Charlie's place.
That is his place.
Johnny Herrera at the plate. Johnny takes a strike.
And one thing the Rockies haven't done this year a lot of, and that is hit into double plays. Just 8 so far in the season.
And that's the sign, I think one of the signs of an athletic team. You have a lot of guys that have maybe a tick above average speed, and then you have a couple of guys who have way above average speed. Dexter Fowler at first certainly would fall into that category, Huey.
Yeah, and just the swings you take too in certain situations. And trying to hit behind, right? I mean, a lot of different mindsets when you go up there, but they'll turn the double play now if on defense. The 21 double plays they've turned, only hit into 8. That's pretty good numbers.
So I think they've only hit into 8 double plays, 3 by Gonzalez, 3 by Tulowitzki. That just tells you they've had some traffic in front of them.
And this may be.
Wouldn't you know it?
We talked about it.
Wouldn't you know it? As soon as you drag something like this out.
9th double play they have hit into. 2 outs, nobody on. Carlos Gonzalez coming up. Well, all season long, join in for Toyota Talk. We'll do it tonight. We'll do it every night. Top of the 6th inning. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your thoughts to 720-720. We'll do it Toyota postgame show as well. Outside on Gonzalez. Yesterday, his first 4-hit day of the year. First 4-hit day for a Rocky this year. He had a half dozen 4-hit days yesterday. In fact, going back to the start of 2010, there's only one player in baseball that's had more 4-hit games than Cargo, and that's Carl Crawford. I don't know if Carl has 4 hits yet this year right now. The way things have gone in Beantown.
Boston did sneak out a win today, 9-1 over Toronto.
Down low.
Well, yesterday in this ball game, obviously, swung the bat well very early. Then a couple of balls got out in front of the plate, utilized that youth and the speed. And then a couple of those, and then also came up with a big base hit to drive and run back up the middle.
Here's the 2-1. And a shattered bat.
Boy, Lincecum's really lucky, guys. He turned his back on that, and that bat caught him right in the lower calf of his leg.
Yeah, Lincecum has yet to give up a hit through 4 innings. Giants have all the runs, 8-0. Look at this replay of the bat flying at Tim Lincecum.
Lucky that jagged edge didn't get him.
brought to you by E470. Discover what 70 miles per hour feels like. Cruise E470 today. The Giants will be here tomorrow night, and then Wednesday afternoon our coverage begins at 12:30 on Root Sports. Thursday's an off day in Florida, and then the Giants will take on the Marlins. Marlins are 8-6 in the early going, and then they'll be at Wrigley Field for 3 games. Tim Lincecum has not allowed a hit through 4 innings. Buster Posey at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Clayton Mortensen, second inning of work after coming on for Esmil Rogers, who allowed the 8 runs in 3 innings.
That first inning of work was very efficient for Clayton Mortensen. And 3 ground ball outs, 2 to third, 1 to first. Over exaggerate, getting up on top of that hard sinker to keep it down in the zone.
The Giants won the World Series last year. They moved in the late 50s from the Polo Grounds in Upper Manhattan to San Francisco, and had never seen a world championship. Their last was in '54 when they beat the Cleveland Indians of Bob Lemon. Tulowitzki makes it look easy. And then game 5 of the 2010 Fall Classic, Edgar Renteria providing all the offense they would need. Looked like a high cutter from Cliff Lee, George.
Yeah, it sure did. That's exactly right. The MVP of the World Series. This club still ticking just like it did a year ago after a rough start in L.A. All of a sudden they started playing really good baseball, and it was a coincidence. You saw their closer, Brian Wilson. Since he's been back, they've gone 7-3. You know, Drew, you asked me a minute ago, you couldn't remember a lot of these a year ago. As you look at Bruce Bochy, of this type of ball game. I went through the whole line score. Think about this. Every game last year for the Rockies. There was one game in Kansas City. They lost 9-2. A game in Washington, 14-6. 13-3 to San Diego. The one shutout lopsided came against San Francisco Giants on August the 3rd, 10-0. Think now, at 162 games, I mentioned 4 ball games.
Yeah, there's only 4. The Rockies were in every ball game, seemed like last year, and even those, you know, you have to go back and look inning by inning, because I don't recall any where it was real ugly that early. Now there may have been 1 or 2. It happens every year. Sandoval rolls to Herrera. Well, he's running a lot better, isn't he, Huey?
Yes, he is. I was shocked when he got down the line and made it that close.
Moving up the line. Big man. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000, online at safelight.com. Earlier we were talking about Sandoval. He walked his first 2 times up. 13th time in his career, surprisingly, that he's had a 2-walk game. And amazingly, he has 3 3-walk games. That was probably shocking. That was probably 2 years ago when teams just said, you know what, we're not going to pitch to him.
I really think that was probably Arizona Summer League when he was a rookie playing at 16 years old.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it now. He's the Vladimir Guerrero of the National League.
One of the advantages the Rockies believe they have going into the series is outfield defense. They're going to have that advantage, Jeff, on every team they play, with Carr going left, who's a Gold Glove center fielder if he wanted to be. Dexter Fowler, who's probably going to have some Gold Gloves in his future. But the Rockies have not been able to get the ball to the outfield yet, where Pat Burrell is limited in left field, and Aaron Rowan is not necessarily a prototypical flyer in center. Lincecum cruising along. He's yet to give up a hit. Drew Goodman along with George Frazier here, and Jeff Houston trying to keep warm.
Right, put the overcoat on.
In the camera
smart man.
by the Rockies dugout. Lincecum is a rare breed. He'd be a rare breed if he was 6'6" and 230 pounds, but being undersized and the numbers he's put up in his career, phenomenal, fellas.
Wait, listen, this is funny, and I told Jeff at the break, I said, let's have a little fun with this. If I came to the mound, you were pitching, you're a young kid, and I told you to tilt, dangle, and reach, would you look at me funny?
Well, yeah, I would say, what are you talking about?
Well, that's exactly what Tim's father, Chris, taught him from the age 4 on with these unusual mechanics. The tilt part of it, he wanted to turn his body, really shoulders toward the third base dugout, forcing him to pick up the target out of the corner of his left eye. And then the dangle is to downward thrust of his arm, turns in towards the home plate area. And then the reach is the violent forward explosion that he has at the end of the plate to get full extension on his fastball.
Now,
so you want to get a look at this? This is what you're getting a look at. And what he's really wanting is he's wanting this to have that downward push here. That's exactly what he's wanting to do. There it is. I mean, that long extension to stride farther than his height. All right, his height. This is really strange, folks. His 7.5 feet is what roughly is what his stride is to the plate. That's how long a stride he has. Here's another one for you, Goody. Guess what? How big he was when he went to high school?
He weighed like 90 pounds, right?
4'11" and 85 pounds. 4'11", 185 pounds. When he went to college as a freshman, he was 5'9" and 135 pounds. Do you know he's played 9 years of football as a quarterback and as a defensive back as a kid growing up, 11 years as a basketball point guard. And what I'm getting to here, folks, this guy was a heck of an athlete. He's the only guy who stands flat-footed, does backflips. As a rookie, they bet him he couldn't walk around the bases on his hands at San Francisco. For $1,000, he walked all the way around it. They bet him another $1,000 one time. He couldn't do front flips from the second base to the center field wall. So he did it and doubled up by doing backflips coming back. Yeah, look at that long stride we're talking about, you know, from point A to point B. That is just, it's amazing what he does and the torque he puts on his body on that stiff front leg to create a lot of leverage on his pitches.
Yeah, I'd like to put a wager out there. I'd like to bet you guys $1,000 that I can't walk around the bases on my hands. Ian?
I don't even want to see you try.
Yeah. You'll get hurt.
No, I'm saying I don't think I can do it.
Second base runner for the Rockies. Obviously, we're in the 5th inning, folks, and there's no hits on the board. That no-no's up there. So they get that thing changed around pretty quick.
Spillboard's coming up.
Wasn't there a story with Lincecum, part of that reach that George was talking about, that his dad would put a dollar bill out in front, and really that was how he got him to reach so far out in front?
That drill doesn't work anymore for him.
No.
Well, I want to tell you something. If you put a 20 out there, I'd do it for a hamstring. Otherwise, I'm not even attempting.
Spillboard, can he get there? Nope. Almost an infield hit.
That probably would have been a double play ball if Lincecum hadn't tried to reach for it.
As the temperature dropped, it sure feels like it. The wind's starting to whip around a little bit down on the field.
George, that's going to be an affirmative yes.
On all the above?
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly down here.
The Rockies, again, have not hit a ball out of the infield. They have struck out 5 times, and everything else has been on the ground.
Got my scarf, my gloves, my overcoat. Luckily, this is covering up my ears.
You look comfortable, though.
Thank you. I love it down here. Just, I mean, you're part of the action right by the dugout.
Don't get too much part of the action.
Well,
I mean, you know, it's being overshadowed by the early offense and the long balls, but Tim Lincecum literally has been unhittable. characters to win their major league debut as a starter for the Rockies. Well, I can think of one right off the bat. Jason Jennings, who had that shutout and hit a home run at Shea Stadium against the Mets back in 2001. Mark Thompson, he had a really good curveball. Remember that phrase?
Oh, yeah.
Brian Ricard. Mark Brownson, I'll never forget that. That was down in Houston.
Yeah, Mom was going nuts at that game.
Yeah, that was down in Houston. And a guy who is the #1 prospect in the Rockies organization for 3 years running. But he had all kinds of arm issues. Chinwe Sal. 1-0 on Clayton Mortensen. Well, Mortensen's been perfect too, Huey.
Well, and that's a good thing too, because he's going to have to throw a lot of pitches tonight. It could be, one of those situations, even when his spot comes up, that he's going to have to hit just to save the bullpen, give them a little bit of a rest.
Well, you know what? He'd been up to 90 pitches in spring training. Now, he had struggled in Colorado Springs. There's no getting around it. He threw an inning the other day, gave up three hits, 3 runs down there. But obviously, they were seeing a different guy out on the mound right now, and that heavy sinker working to his advantage.
That's a good pitch right there.
I like that from Bree in Montana. Yeah, might be a rough start tonight, but who's chasing who?
Such a key for the Rockies. They've already won more times in April of 2011 than they won in April of 2010. 11 wins last April. They're 12-3 coming into this ball game tonight. There's a pop-up. Johnny Herrera territory. Tulowitzki's now on the right side. He'll take it. Make sure all season long you join in for Toyota Talk. Text your comments as you've done for our 6th inning on what you and fellow Rocky fans have on their minds about their favorite team. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comment to 720-720. To second. That pop came up a little bit.
Nice job by Mortensen. Come out here and he's thrown 30 pitches now, 20 for strikes, ground ball outs, one after the other. Just what the doctor ordered in this situation.
That's a good question. Did Miguel Tejada and Ty Wigginton, did they overlap in Baltimore? They did. Yeah, Lumber's got to start cracking. It's hard to do against Lincecum.
He's got some good stuff. Lincecum's got some really good stuff tonight. Just seeing the movement down here at field level.
Well, good velocity, too.
Yep.
Lincecum's going to ground out. 9 up, 9 set down by Clayton Mortensen. Nice job by Mortensen. They got 5 in the first inning against Esmil Rogers, 8 in all against Rogers. The Rockies do not have a hit against Tim Lincecum. Let's take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch. Esmil Rogers wins that category, but nothing else. 96 and 95. That's brought to you by the fast, reliable, secure, heavy-duty internet from Quest. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jeff Houston, Alana Rizzo around the ballpark.
Now, how effective Lincecum has been so far as you looked at his velocities. 9 ground ball outs. There's only been 1 fly ball out and 5 strikeouts.
The outfielders could take a seat. I mean, they literally have not been involved.
The only time they got involved was when Burrow came running in and lost it, and Tejada caught the ball at shortstop.
Yeah, you're right. That's it. Iannetta is 0 for 1.
Really, the only ball that's had a chance to be a hit was Carlos's back in the first when Freddie Sanchez made the diving play on it.
This one again.
Caught his heel right up on the rubber. You're lucky there, man. All that thrust that he throws through. Watch his back heel. Watch how it kind of flies up over. See how it spun against the rubber. What he does is he hooks that front foot. What he does is he hooks that foot. Try to get down there to look at it real quick. Like when he makes his turn, watch right here. Whoop. Clear that out of your way. See how that's hooked onto the rubber? Well, what he does when he turns, look how much pressure there is against that foot, how much torque. And that spike, it appeared when he made that turn, just spun off of the top of that rubber and ended up, he lost complete footing on that right there.
Off the plate, 3 and 2. 2 base runners for the Rockies. Fowler walked leading off the 4th. Todd Helton with 1 out last inning. More tidbits on Tim Lincecum. He's one of 3 pitchers since World War II to lead the National League in strikeouts in 3 straight seasons. Warren Spahn did it 4 straight years, 49 to 52. Randy Johnson did it 99 to 2002. As Iannetta goes down, 6 strikeouts for Lincecum tonight.
Well, the first 10,000 on April the 19th is going to receive a Hebrew National Hot Dog coupon. Remember these, the Dollar Dog Nights are always a lot of fun here at the ballpark. April 19th. Fans up in the Mountain Ranch Club hanging out, eating little hot dogs, watching some hardball.
Tim Lincecum did it the last 3 years, leading the league in strikeouts. Career best was 08 when he struck out 265. And he has got number 7. The season high is 13 against the Padres. Came up in 07, went 7-5 in 24 starts. Then the next year, he went 18-5, captured a Cy Young.
I tell you what's interesting about what you're saying, Drew, and listen to these names. You're talking about Cy Youngs, consecutive Cy Youngs. We're not going to have time to do it. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but you're talking about guys like Maddox, Johnson, Koufax, McClain, Palmer, Clemens, and Martinez. You're in a pretty good group of fellas.
He's only thrown 68 pitches. strike zone tomorrow. Let's check in with Alana Rizzo. Alana?
Guys, going back to last night's game, the Rockies bullpen has now pitched 8 shutout innings with the job that Mortensen has done so far tonight. I talked to bullpen coach Jim Wright earlier today about why his bullpen has been so successful all season long.
Well, for one thing, they all have great arms and great stuff, and they pull together. I think that as a unit, they put their egos aside and they really try to be the best they can be for each other. And I think that being unselfish in the way they are, they've been blessed that way.
Guys, and they have the 5th lowest ERA in the National League with 3.19 coming into tonight's ball game. Really tremendous job by the bullpen. Jim Tracy has talked about it all season long as well.
Well, Alana, I'll tell you right now, this club wouldn't be where it is right now if it wasn't for the bullpen and what they've been able to accomplish. Starters have been great, but this bullpen's cleaned up a lot of messes.
Well, you know, if you start this game, Jeff Houston, in the 4th inning, you got a couple of no-nos going.
0-0, right?
It's zip, and 2 guys with no hitters.
I just
Can you do that?
You can't, unfortunately. Otherwise, there would be a rewind button. But I just like the job that Clayton's come into this ball game, throwing strikes, using the defense, and at least eating some innings up.
Well, we talked about the fact that the outfielders for the Giants have not been involved at all in this game. Well, since Mortensen has come on, the outfielders for the Rockies through 10 hitters have not been involved at all.
It's just been a great job by him. You need somebody to come in here and eat up innings. And the other side of this thing, obviously making a statement to the Rockies and what he's accomplished here tonight and his ability to throw strikes, work ahead. He's thrown 38 pitches, 24 for strikes. Quick, easy outs. That's what you look for. First time I laid eyes on Mortensen, I was kidding him today. I said, remember in Tulsa at the 10 a.m. start? They used to have these, they still have them, businessman specials. Start at 10 a.m. in the morning. Started that game for the Cardinal affiliate at that time. It was another ground ball.
It's been amazing. Ground ball after ground ball. Aubrey Huff coming up with 2 outs. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. 9 ground ball outs, 2 pop-ups against Clayton Mortensen.
Well, remember, he was in the running for that 5th spot, too, during spring training. I think that's the other thing that, you know, it's not like he came out of nowhere. He was a guy that looked heavily on during spring training.
And that's why Dan O'Dowd went out and got him. He had good AAA numbers a year ago. He had some major league experience, and you want to stockpile as many folks as you can that you believe can help you. Emergency start, emergency couple of starts at the big league level. And in this particular case, it's long haul duty out of the pen for Clayton Mortensen in his Rockies debut.
Well, if everything would have fallen the way it had for Greg Reynolds, I'm not so sure this might have been the guy. If Reynolds would have been thrown and you needed that other starter to come up, it could have been Mortensen. It's like Bob Apodaca with his comment, 10 or 11 is going to cut it. Starters, you're going to need them. You're going to need relievers. You're going to need people to come up and fill in at times when guys are tired or get hurt for a season. Very rarely do 5 starters start the season and finish the season without missing any time.
First person to reach against Mortensen's Aubrey Huff with a walk with 2 gone in the 7th. And that'll bring up Buster Posey, who's 0 for 3. Posey has 3 home runs. And that's his total for extra base hits. He does not have a double this year or a triple. Drafted out of high school as a pitcher, he threw 94 off the hill. And he pitched some at Florida State. He played all 9 positions in one ball game at Florida State. Hey, if your windshield is cracked or needs repair, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. 0-2 count on Buster Posey. A swinging bunt, tough play, and Posey safe, an infield hit. So here's the first knock against Mortensen, a 45-footer.
Yeah, and made a good pitch too. Posey gets this thing well out in front of it. A good head hard sink on the inside half, cuts right down the line, but not hit hard enough with 2 outs. And the type of power you respect with Posey at the plate, you're going to play a little deep. That makes that play very difficult.
Kung Fu Panda comes up. 0 for 1, a couple of walks, a couple of runs scored for Sandoval. Giants come to town nursing some injuries. Andres Torres, who was so valuable to them last year, is on the disabled list with an Achilles strain. Cody Ross, who was picked up from Florida last year and played a huge part in the postseason run for the Giants, had a calf injury in late March. He is due to come off the disabled list. Actually, he's eligible right now, but he's still rehabbing at Fresno. They'll probably get him ready to go this weekend. Of course, he was the NLCS MVP. Barry Zito just placed on the DL for the first time in his career.
Torres too hurt with the calf deal that you talked about. You talked about Ross, talked about Zito, but how about Wilson too? Was early on. The Brian Wilson, their closer, they started 3 and lost 3 or 4 to the Dodgers, and then since he's been back with them in their bullpen, they've gone 7-3, and he's got 4 saves.
It just puts everybody back in their same slot out there in the bullpen.
Makes the manager happy.
2-1 on Sandoval with 2 on and 2 outs outside. Zito had made 356 consecutive starts without missing a turn.
Bruce Bochy had managed clubs in the World Series with the San Diego Padres. I know a year ago that it was obviously unbelievable for him. Their ball club, by the way, set a record for shares given out. In other words, players vote on shares and what they give to individual players, and it's prorated. If you're up a month, typically you get 1/6. You see his numbers as a manager. But last year there was 45 or 46 full shares of $300,000+.
And a walk to Sandoval. That's the 3rd for Sandoval. We talked about it earlier. He's a tough guy to walk, and now 4 times in his career he's walked 3 times in a game. The bases are loaded for Pat Burrell, who had a 3-run home run in the first inning, which really put the Rockies behind the proverbial 8 ball.
You know what's great, I think, when we mentioned those shares, guys like this guy right here. Well, that's a big one. Let's go up here and do this. This guy right here, Bill Hayes. This guy right here, Mark Gardner. 2 guys that the most they ever made in the big leagues, particularly Hayes, was $19,000 because he was an up and down guy, and that was the minimum at the time. And all these years you work as a coach trying to accumulate major league time to help you with your pension, support your family, because they don't nearly make the money that a big league player makes. Make that one good swoop like that to where you get that 300,000+. I mean, it's great to have the ring. It's great to be a World Series champion, and that's just icing on the cake.
For the clubhouse guys as well, George. These guys that work hard behind the scenes for the players, be able to give those guys full shares.
0-1 on Pat Burrell. Burrell came in 4 for his previous 19. And then he hit that 3-run home run. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Popped out in the 5th.
Well, the Giants haven't failed many times this year in this situation. Unfortunately, 6 for 11. 2 outs and the bases loaded. I hope for Clayton Mortensen and the Rockies that they're able to get Burrell to roll over on something or swing and a miss.
That's Burrell's 13th career home run against the Rockies. And that sets up away, and a good looking pitch. Strike 3. And Mortensen leaves the bases loaded in the 7th. 8-0 San Francisco. Rockies without a hit. Well, the first inning, a run already in for the Giants, and Pat Burrell, he knew he got it. Nate Sherholtz certainly knew he got his. He hit it into the 3rd deck, and the Giants continued to do damage against Esmil Rogers tonight. Freddie Sanchez with an opposite field home run, his 2nd of the year. And Tim Lincecum has been, well, he's been Tim Lincecum and then some. His career low-hit game is a 2-hitter. He's got a no-hitter going as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Darren Ford takes over in center field, and Aaron Rowan will replace Pat Burrell.
Well, you can see that.
Belt, excuse me, George. Brandon Belt is in the ball game also at first base.
Yeah, Belt, a very good first base and fielding first baseman, and of course center field now with Ford. You got much more speed out of there. You got coverage you can have in the outfield with a no-hitter. That's what you're trying to do as a manager, put your best defensive team on the field.
Here's Johnny Herrera. Johnny takes ball 1. Well, it's kind of an unusual deal, Jeff Houston. The defensive changes have everything to do with the no-hitter now.
Definitely.
As opposed to, hey, it's a 1 or 2 run lead. You want to get Burrell off the field and go offense or defense instead of offense.
Yeah, and right, that's what it is. So you got more range out in left field with Aaron Rowan. Ford, as you mentioned, can run it down. If there's a ball in the dirt, Brandon Belt, I mean, that's what Bruce Bochy's thinking right now with 9 outs to go.
1-2. This ball's hit a ton right center field. Did Herrera get it? No, it's going to die a step shy of the track. Nate Sherholtz makes the catch. That's the first ball hit to the outfield tonight by Colorado.
But Drew, that one sounded better off the bat of Jonathan Herrera than what we saw earlier from Freddie Sanchez.
This ball got smoked intersided, and you think this ball's going to carry out, but I think you also have a drop of about 25 degrees of temperature and a wind change now, obviously, in this ballpark.
Cargo steps up. If there's been one guy that's come close to a hit, it was Gonzalez back in the 1st inning. Diving stop by Freddie Sanchez going to his left, and from his knees, he just got Cargo at first. 2-0. I say I'm guessing he breaks it up right here. That's my prediction.
I don't think Lincecum will throw him a fastball though. 2-0.
Cargo, like so many good hitters, sometimes will sit on an off-speed pitch. We were talking about that around the batting cage today.
A year ago, the way he had his success with him, and fastball 93, but the way he had a lot of success with him was off-speed pitch or a changeup.
Hey, Huey, that may have been one of those situations. 2-0, he got the fastball. He didn't fire because he may have been sitting something soft.
Yeah, And sometimes you do that when you're ahead in the count. I just didn't think he would throw him one in that situation.
3-1.
Because his mindset's a little different right now as far as, you know, the perfect game's out the window because he's walked a couple of guys. Now he's thinking about that no-hitter.
That's a clean base hit. And the no-hitter is gone. Carlos Gonzalez rips it through the right side.
Right on the money, Drew.
Well, it's not like you're going out on a limb picking the batting champion to break it up.
I mean, you know, I could understand if you had picked somebody else, but. Well, you can see where they want this pitch, down and away from him. See the reach back to the middle of the plate, not at all anywhere where Posey wanted it or where Lincecum wanted it. The results is what you should get when you make mistakes against great hitters, and that's the ball hit hard.
Tulowitzki fouls it off. Literally the first time the crowd can get involved in any way tonight. It's been an economical outing for Lincecum as well. He's thrown just 80 pitches as he works with 1 out in the 7th. Ball and a strike. Last 70 ball games for the guy at the plate. Got 70 RBIs. Tulowitzki 6 for 34 lifetime with a home run against Lincecum. And every hitter I talked to, George and Jeff, today for the Rockies, the pitch that concerns them the most with Lincecum is the changeup.
Absolutely it is, because you really roll to the inside and really take off, and when you do that, obviously you're going to end up having a result of a very good pitch, but it's all about arm speed.
You know, Todd told me, Helton, he said he reminds him of Schilling. And I said, yeah, Schilling had that great splitter, and he said his changeup moves like Schilling's splitter.
You remember when Schilling came in there, and as good as he was, it was fastball changeup, fastball changeup. He didn't implement the slider until late in the ball game. He didn't have the curveball Kurt Schilling did of what Lincecum offers on the mound.
But the deception on it, that's what gets it, because that arm strength that you talked about and the arm speed, he never slows his body down to get that changeup. Coming out of the hand, it looks like a fastball.
2-2. And that's foul. We have a special guest up here in the booth.
Her mic's not on.
That's all right. She can just wave.
Is your mic on? It's not on, is it? Well, here, go ahead.
She's got the Queen wave going.
Hi.
You know what?
It's fun up here.
Somebody asked me the other day. There's Alana. Somebody there's Dougie. Doug wave. There you go.
Sam's
I
hiding.
came to get warm.
We're not going to show Sam. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, does Alana come up to the booth much? I said, you know what?
I think this is the third time
I
I've been here in 4
haven't
years.
seen Alana in the booth. I don't know if I ever have until tonight.
Yeah, it's like probably the third time in 4 years. I just came to get warm and wanted to say hi to you guys. I'm sorry I didn't bring you.
Shows up on cold nights.
Cold nights.
Alana, your chair's down here waiting.
No.
Okay.
No, every time you're down there by the dugout, I get booted. And tonight I'm glad I'm not down there with you, Huey.
You tell everybody it's not exactly warm up here, is it?
The heater that you have here is kind of nice.
And how about Frazier? I didn't know the heater was going. And here's the 3-2. Hold on. Strike 3. Yeah, Frazier had it tilted toward him. 2 outs as Tulowitzki is called out on strikes. And as Todd comes up, we talked to him during spring training about facing Tim Lincecum.
The changeup. I mean, I think about him pitching backwards, and fastball. You know, obviously his fastball sets up everything, but his changeup's disgusting.
When you hear words like disgusting, filthy, nasty, that's the highest compliment a hitter will give a pitcher, right, Alana?
Well, you heard about his diet. That's disgusting.
That is disgusting. You know who that reminds me of, by the way? I was going to say it. Remember Corey Sullivan? Corey?
Oh, yeah. He still lives here.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey was the worst eater, and his teammates were saying you can't just live on the way you eat forever. And Corey slowly had to change his diet around. But Corey's one of those guys who was lean and in good shape. But then you start looking like Frazier when you move
Frazier
along.
looks great.
Georgie looks great, but you know, the Helton burgers. George, you haven't missed a Helton burger in a while, George. 3-0 on top. 3-1. Isn't that amazing? You know you've had a great career when you've come up 700 times, Jeff, against just one team.
Yeah, I've barely had over 800 in my whole career.
That's called a strike. That could be a little bit down. He's a career .323 hitter, so that's how you keep getting in games. And that's pulled down the line. Fair ball into the corner. Carlos around third, and the shutout is gone as Helton doubles home Gonzalez.
You don't want me to leave now, do you?
You're doing great, Alana. Stay where you are. Todd Helton with his 529th career double.
Well, positioned perfectly for Todd Helton in a 3-2 count, trying to run the ball down and away. They threw the sinker in, a miss by Lincecum, another good hitter, making him pay for it. Helton picks up his 8th RBI as this ball gets to the corner and rattles around and gets to scoring position to make this an 8-1 ball game.
We were bragging on Todd, the fact that he had 700 at bats against the Giants alone. He just moved past a guy that, as I recall, was pretty good on the all-time doubles list. Frank Robinson. He's tied with Al Oliver, the former Pirate, and Lou Gehrig is within his sights. Look at the names on that list.
Yeah, an amazing player. I'll say this about Todd Helton. He's just, for people in Colorado, you've been blessed to watch a great player put on a uniform every day in a Rockies uniform and come out here and perform.
And the wonderful thing is, this is not, you know, a guy tipping his cap as he walks up the 18th fairway. He's swinging the bat really well. I mean, he's hitting about 350.
And turning on the baseball too. That just tells you that back and everything's going right, because we've seen him hit the ball to left field, but when they make a mistake down and in, there's still that bat speed to get there and drive it to right.
You know, they hit in groups, and Carney Lakesford sets those groups up at the end of batting practice. And they do things for a purpose. The group, that last group to hit, Giambi, Helton, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. And guess what? They were visiting the upper deck a lot today.
You too can be efficient when it comes to your energy and visit responsiblebynature.com. Clayton Mortensen had 3 1-2-3 innings. This is one of them. Mortensen got ground ball after ground ball. He has done a terrific job, and I guarantee if this thing ends as it appears it will, with the Rockies on the short end. More on that in a moment. Let me tell you about some changes. Ty Wigginton in the game at left. Ian Stewart at third. And this is a line drive that's going to drop in front of Spilborghs. Jose Lopez moves from third to second. Johnny Herrera from second to short. So the Rockies getting Tulowitzki and Gonzalez off their feet for the final couple innings. But if the Rockies were unable to come back, one of the first things that Jim Tracy's going to mention in the postgame is how Clayton Mortensen saved the bullpen.
Well, he's always going to find, you want to find something positive out of a ball game. And that's what you're trying to do. And I think Jim obviously is going to be, this is the one big positive. The other is they didn't quit. I mean, to come up with a run in the 7th inning on a night when a guy's got no hit stuff. Talking about Lincecum.
Tejada's sac fly back in the 3rd, his 7th RBI. Hit a home run in his first swing as a San Francisco Giant. That had been done before. And one of the guys on the list is now on the Rockies coaching staff. Glenn Allen Hill, in his Giant debut, hit a home run in his first AB. There's G. Seth Smith in the foreground. Keith Duggar, head trainer for the Rockies, moves off to the left. This is a double play ball. And Helton, did he stay on the bag?
Yes,
Huey had it. Huey had it before Eddie Rapuano.
Well, yeah, he got the top of his cleat up there. 22 double plays now.
And I don't know how much these two had worked together up the middle.
Right there, just a little bit of a stretch.
Well, spring training get a little time. You see it here. And Helton so many times goes from 6'2" to 6'9", it seems like, to make plays.
Lincecum 0 for 3. Never good when the opponent's starting pitcher gets 4 at bats. Throws out Tim Lincecum, and it turns into another 1-2-3 inning. Just a 6-pitch inning for Mortensen. 8-1 San Francisco.
How about that? Or losing, huh? How about that?
Take a look at our Ecotech game summary brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. The Giants got 5 in the first against S. Mill Rogers, a couple of home runs in that inning. Another home run by Freddie Sanchez in the second, 2 more against Rogers in the third. He was removed after that. Mortensen has been terrific since then. And the Rockies finally got a hit in the 7th. Cargo singled, and Todd Helton doubled him home. The only 2 knocks against Lincecum, who continues on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jose Lopez up there. Chris Ionette on deck. You know, Lincecum, George, to his credit, did not deviate from his game plan even after the large early lead.
No, he did not. I mean, and realistically, Drew, that's what you should do. You see Vogelsong, who just was brought up to replace Zito on the roster, is going to get an inning of work. Former Pirate. Started for them a number of years ago. Been in Japan even and pitched before coming back to the Jets. And he had a good spring for the Giants. But Lincecum, Drew, I don't think, and you know, other guys will tell you, Huey as a hitter would probably tell you, you know, they're screaming about this time when they say, now throw a fastball, you know, yelling at you. But you got a no-hitter going, you got a one-hitter going, you got an 8-1 lead. You know what? I'm not here for BP. I'm out here to get you out. And I'm going to do what I can. Try to kick save one there. Second hit for the Rockies. Lopez takes it up the middle.
He's still out there. He still wants to compete. I mean, that's the bottom line. So to further your point, George, you're right. He's not just going to lay cookies in there for you to hit.
No, I've always believed, you know, it's like a blowout in football or whatever. That the third string comes in, they have a right to run the offense. It's your job to try to stop them. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your comments and questions to 720-720 during Toyota Talk throughout the Toyota postgame show.
You know, Drew, that was one of my favorite quotes from Billy Tubbs when he was had great teams at Oklahoma.
Sure.
You know, he's running up scores, beat people by 60, 50 points. He said, not my fault you're bad. I was like, Billy, you can't say that. You say whatever you want to when you're good.
Billy Tubbs was a character. He had some run-and-gun teams at OU.
Tell you what, Tulsa right now has 3 Hall of Fame coaches. Kind of fun to go over to a little restaurant, kind of hang out, short hop. Will he handle it? That's a tough double play. Not going to happen.
Jose Lopez going hard into Freddie Sanchez.
As soon as Pablo Sandoval took a half step back, then that's what caused that to get really blown up there. Freddie didn't have a chance to turn.
All righty, how about remind the people of Weather and Science Day here at the ballpark. It is coming up on May 11th. Join Kathy Saban and Steve Spangler from 9 News for the Weather and Science Day at Coors Field on May 11th. You know, that's pretty cool. Have you ever watched that here at the park? That is fun. They do a lot of things. A lot of kids show up for that. And have a pretty good time as it goes on.
Steve Spangler has.
Have you not been here and watched that? That's fun.
Absolutely.
Spangler has some weird things happen.
Oh, that's not weird.
No, I mean weird in a good way.
Oh, yeah. It's entertaining. I'll tell you that, folks.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I thought I was going back to my high school chemistry lab.
Yeah.
Don't mix this test tube with that test tube. Don't get smoke where you don't want smoke, right?
That's right.
0-2 on Mortensen. Felipe Paulino was warming up, but Mortensen's pitch count is not that high, so he may be able to eat up the 9th inning also. 107 pitches in.
I'm a little surprised.
For Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, regardless how good a shape you're in and all that, I mean, I'm kind of surprised Lincecum's going to even, you know, I don't think he'll pitch tonight. Their bullpen's busy too. But you know, to have any kind of stress or anything else, because it is very early in the season. Now you got an old-fashioned, old-time coach in Dave Rigetti. He doesn't really pay much attention to pitch counts. He pays attention to wins and losses.
Hey, Huey,
how are you doing?
Huey, did you have a swing there? Ed Rapuano did.
I didn't either. I was right with Eddie. I was right with the only reason I thought they might not send him back out for this inning was because he'd already given up a hit and a run. So it wasn't like he was pitching for a no-hitter or the shutout.
There's Dave Rigetti visiting with Bruce Bochy. Rags with the no-hitter is a New York Yankee.
July 4th against the Boston Red Sox in Yankee Stadium.
Well, he's reached double figures. Lincecum has in strikeouts yet again. That's his 10th strikeout of the night.
But if you go back to the point that Drew made earlier in the broadcast, that the Giants bullpen also had been really worked in that Arizona series, and including yesterday with a lot of guys having to pitch.
Yeah, 28 times now. Lincecum has struck out at least 10 in a ball game.
3 times against Colorado, September 14th, 2009, and then again on August 27th, 2008 against Colorado, and then here tonight.
Six-year-old Tim Lincecum. Three straight All-Star games for Lincecum. Last Giant pitcher went to 3 straight All-Star games. Juan Marichal. He went 8 straight in the 60s. Well, Vogelsong's ready, and Lincecum, whose 113th pitch misses. He did not, but if he loses Fowler, I got to believe that Bruce will go and get him.
Well, you would think so. Plus, you'd like to get Lincecum on a major league mound, because the last time he was on one was June 22nd, 2006 for Vogelsong. So, you know, that's why you would like to try to get him out there to get some work before he takes that start for Barry Zito. I wonder if he thought to take 5 years for him to get back to the big leagues, being Vogelsong.
Chris Arnett will be moving. Ball 4. So Fowler reaches. Ionette at a second. Herrera coming up. Here comes Bruce Bochy. And he will indeed bring in Ryan Vogelsong. 115 pitches for Lincecum. He goes 7 2/3. He's allowed 3 hits. He has struck out 10. As he typically is, a handful tonight. Your future, call College Invest. It's the right way to go. You can open an account today. You can open that account for as little as $10, 10 minutes at collegeinvest.org. Collegeinvest.org, where you can set up your children's future. Yeah, Tim Lincecum was unhittable for 6 1/3 tonight. Rockies finally got to him. Carlos Gonzalez, a solid base hit to right, and then an RBI double from Todd Helton. He is responsible for the 2 runners on base. 28 times in his career now. He struck out at least 10 in a ball game. So Ryan Vogelsong is making his first appearance since June 22nd in 2006, as George mentioned. Will face Johnny Herrera.
They pitched in 120 ball games at the major league level with San Francisco. First trip in 2000. Then on to Pittsburgh from 2002, and then he went over to Japan for a couple of years. Last year pitched in Salt Lake City. Lehigh Valley, both AAA affiliates. He pitched in 33 ball games there. 121st appearance at the major league level. Started throwing a really hard split finger in Japan. Drafted 1998 by the San Francisco Giants in the 5th round.
So he's come full circle.
Yeah, back again.
This is a ground ball to second, and Sanchez flips to Miguel Tejada. That's all for the Rockies in the 8th inning. 8-1, the Giants. Plus tax by the Colorado Lottery. Don't forget to play. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Well, coming up next after the ball game is the Toyota post-game show for a sneak preview. Tom's got laryngitis or something, and the Cowboys taking over.
I got my security blanket right here. Right here. He's there to help me. We've got tonight on the post-game show, Drew, we're going to talk about home runs on the range. Esmail Rogers had gotten 228 consecutive batters without giving up a home run, the longest streak of any starting pitcher in the major leagues. 3 of the next 5 batters homered off him. We have the lawman, Tim Lincecum, shut the Rockies down, put that law down to him, showed them that the Giants are still in town. 6 no-hit innings before leaving after 7 1/3. And finally, there's a new sheriff in town. His name's Clayton Mortensen. He was here to save the Rockies bullpen, and he's done that and then some in his 5+ innings of relief.
Hey, Trace.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand the theme. I don't get it.
There's none. There is no theme. Helmer, help me with it. What do you expect? Come on.
Once again, I'm confused. All right, we'll check back with the posse. Get it?
Yeah, I got it. Trace, that was awesome. We'll see you later.
Trace.
Yeah, that was awesome, Trace. We'll check back with the posse for the Toyota post-game show. And don't forget, Toyota Talk will continue throughout the post-game show, so text your comments. Still out there and still throwing strikes, Clayton Mortensen. Aaron Rowan leading off in the 9th.
Well, just utilizing a big sinker, occasional changeup. Another sinker got in on his hands, going to be popped up. Hopefully Inez will have a play. He will. For a guy that was one of the hottest hitters in the league, talking about Aaron Rowan, 364 coming in. The Rockies handled him very well. 0 for 5 without a ball getting out of the infield. I know he's not going to have a happy night. Disappointed with that effort.
Freddie Sanchez is 2 for 4 in the ball game, a double and a home run. And then a couple of ground balls to third. He really has a kind of a funky delivery.
Well, it's like what you terminology, Iron Mike. It's right over the top. I mean, you know, remember the old Iron Mike pitching machines? He really kind of clears, gets way up on top, and it's an exaggeration, but that's what really helps him create that heavy sink on his fastball.
Yeah, reminder tomorrow, game 2 of this series, Ubaldo Jimenez returns to the rotation.
And I want to warn the fans at home, don't expect the Ubaldo from July, but it's still a very good pitcher and a guy that's been doing a good job. My right hand Stewart. Going to say he caught it. Don't need to throw it, but practice anyway.
That's a line drive, L5 if you're scoring at home. Hey, stay connected with us all season long. Be a fan of Root Sports on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know what you love about the Rockies. Visit our website, RockyMountain.rootsports.com for more information. Or, you know, you can check out our various individual sites on Facebook and Twitter.
I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of high fives going in that dugout for Clayton Mortensen right now. What he did in this game tonight to come in and throw this many shutout innings, 6 shutout innings, 2 hits. You kidding me? Good job, youngster.
Is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Did not start well tonight for the Rockies. They gave up 5 in the first. Esmil Rogers gave up a 3-run home run. As you look at Eli Whiteside in for Buster Posey, gave up a 3-run home run to Pat Burrell, and then a third deck shot to Nate Shearholtz. Freddie Sanchez added a solo home run in the second, and then another home run later on. Excuse me, those are 3 home runs. 2 runs came in the third as well for San Francisco. And Tim Lincecum was unhittable until the 7th inning. Ty Wigginton's first at bat, and he checks his swing, but he was in there 0-1, facing Ryan Vogelsong. Ian Stewart is on deck. Jim Tracy able to get Cargo and Tulowitzki at least a couple innings off in what has turned into a lopsided ball game.
Following the Rockies with MLB.com at Bat 11 app, featuring highlights and more. Text at bat to 31826.
Let's see if Helton hits. Let's do up third in the inning. Maybe an opportunity to give Giambi an at bat. We'll see. No, Tom's got the helmet on.
He's looking down in the dugout. He's ready to go.
It's an important at bat for Wigginton to some degree, in that he's trying to. This feels like he's a click off, Huey, trying to get his timing.
Yeah, I had to talk with Jim Tracy about that today, and he was just saying in yesterday's ball game, the pitch before he struck out just fouled it straight back, and that was one of those times just to click off.
And it goes down swinging here. We did have a question earlier, and we should address it. We started to about Wigginton and Tejada. They played together for half the season last year in Baltimore, and then Tejada was moved to San Diego. Well, same situation for Ian Stewart. And he takes a strike. Well, fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Rockies and the Giants split the 18 games last year, 9-9. A little late on that swing. It's 1-2. The Rockies lost the season series to the Giants in 2009, 10-8. Of course, the Rockies won 92 games that year. Between 06 and 08, the Rockies won the season series every year. I imagine it's going to be close again this year. Tell you what Lincecum did, obviously, not only did he have no-hit stuff and basically performed as we've come to expect him to perform, but he picked up their bullpen because they had thrown 12 innings over the previous 2 days. With the injury to Zito on Saturday and the 12-inning affair yesterday down in the desert. So they needed a lengthy start.
It was nice too for him anyway when he got staked to the 5-0 lead before he even took the hill back.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Ian Stewart. Center field. Darren Ford's out there, 2 gone. Bring up help with 2 gone in the bottom of the 9th. Todd, a ground ball to third on a check swing. He walked in the 5th and had an RBI double against Lincecum to break up the shutout in the 7th inning. 3 hits tonight for the Rockies. Gonzalez broke up the no-hitter in the 7th. Helped aforementioned double, and Jose Lopez led off the 8th with a single. Well hit to left center field. Ford misread it initially, and it's going to get over his head. It takes 1 hop over the wall. That's 424 feet to that corner nook out there, Jeff Hewson. Todd Helton couldn't have hit the ball that far last season.
And against the wind too, Drew, because that wind is starting to come in just from left center field. He stayed on this ball that was down and away from him, or excuse me, away from him, but about belt high. And he drove it that way. Now I can, Ford thinking that he might have a chance and finally just had to bail out of there. That was a very nice swing and had that loud sound to it.
Now, Carney Lansford was saying during the pregame show that Todd's staying tall at the plate, staying on his backside. Remember last year, George, Jeff, so many times he described on the telestrator how he collapsed the backside.
Yeah, he just didn't have any leg strength. There you go. 30th, 32nd now, all by himself ahead of Al Oliver.
And Spilborghs pops this up to right field. Shearholt's coming on. And in this much anticipated series, the Giants convincingly in game 1 behind Tim Lincecum, 8-1 the final. Lincecum the victory. Esmil Rogers takes the loss. Both pitchers are 2-1 now here in the month of April in 2011. The Giants hit 3 home runs in the ball game. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Well, Tim Lincecum Had a no-hitter into the 7th inning. He struck out 10 Rockies tonight. 28 times now in his career he's reached double figures in strikeouts. Here's our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. 8-1 is the final. We invite you to stick around for the Toyota post-game show. Remember, tomorrow's ball game will feature Baldo Jimenez taking back to the hill for the Rockies.